A 12-year-old girl had to take care of 8 children, 3 of which were pairs of twins. As you can imagine, it was incredibly difficult. But Mrs. Hammer didn't appreciate the girl's efforts. She thought Annie was always too absorbed in her books and not doing enough work. So she burned her books. Annie endured it all, because when she was just 3 months old, her parents died from a fever. She grew up in an orphanage, and she was just happy that someone was willing to take her in. But then, Mr. Hammer suddenly died from a heart attack. Mrs. Hammer planned to send the children to relatives and leave this place with her family. Annie's only option was to return to the orphanage. 6 months later, Annie was thrilled to learn that a family on Prince Edward Island wanted to adopt her. Now she sat nervously at the train station waiting. The family was a brother and sister, both of whom had never married. Now, the older brother, Matthew, wanted to adopt a boy to help with the farm work, as he was getting too old. But when he arrived at the station, he was confused. Why was a girl sitting there instead? As Matthew struggled to figure out what to say, Annie walked up and greeted him first. Matthew thought about explaining the mix-up, but when he saw the hope in Annie's eyes, he couldn't bring himself to tell her the truth. So he decided to take Annie home and sort things out later. On the way home, Annie excitedly talked non-stop, but Matthew remained silent. Annie worried that she was talking too much and might be bothering him, so she quickly said that if he didn't like it, she could keep quiet. The truth was, Matthew was uncomfortable around all women, but with this little chatterbox, he didn't mind at all. As they got closer to home, Annie felt like she had discovered a new world. This place was breathtakingly beautiful, but its name was so ordinary. In Annie's words, this place should have been called White Wings Path, and the pond she saw, it should be called Glory Lake. And not far off was the green house, her future home. Annie clutched the tattered suitcase containing all her belongings, following Matthew into the house. When she stepped inside, her dreams were shattered.
This is what comes of sending word instead of going ourselves, Matthew.
You don't want me? You don't want me because I'm not a boy?
She should have known that no one had ever really wanted her. Marilla guessed that there must have been some kind of misunderstanding, so she decided to let Annie stay the night. Tomorrow, they would go to the agent to clarify everything and send Annie back to the orphanage. Matthew thought it was too cruel to send an orphan back, and he wanted to keep Annie, but Marilla firmly refused, saying the girl was of no use to their family. The next day, Marilla took Annie to the agent's house and cleared up the misunderstanding. Coincidentally, the agent's neighbor, Mrs. Blewett, needed a girl to help take care of her children. Marilla knew her, but she didn't like her. She was a sharp-tongued woman with 10 children. If Annie stayed with her, she would definitely suffer. Marilla then changed her mind and said she needed to think about it some more. So she brought Annie back home. Marilla could already imagine how this girl would turn the house upside down, but when she remembered how Annie had described Mrs. Blewett's face as a cone, she couldn't help but laugh. Although Annie could stay, she couldn't be too happy just yet because she still had to go through a probationary period.